From an undisclosed locations for reasons of security and insecurity, brought to you by the Montreal Anti-Illuminati Task Force, we present to you MNR Live TV show tonight. And tonight we're going to be talking about something that's very, very kind of, how can I say it? It's a very hot topic: the moon landing hoax conspiracy. Did man actually in 1969 ever go on the moon? And have they returned? And why is the reason that they have not returned since? Well, we're going to get into that later tonight. But without further ado, the Wild Child presents the one and only, his co-host, the Madman Mario.
Yes, Robert, it's finally great to be back after 2 weeks. Because we can't say last week to be live, right?
Yeah, because last week we weren't live. We did a show. It was a great show. Hopefully you guys see it with Dr. C.K. Quarterman. Last week's show we were talking about casting out demons. If you have not seen our show, just go in the archives on our YouTube channel and you can see it there. And it's a wonderful, wonderful show. Great information. And we want to thank again Dr. C.K. Quarterman for recording a show with us last week.
But Rob, don't tell him to watch it now. Now is not a good time.
No,
now watch the show live. Watch it later on, tomorrow, whenever you want. But don't watch it now.
Because now on a worldwide transmission.
Yeah, exactly. So are we excited?
We are excited because we're going to be talking about the moon landing conspiracy.
But Rob,
the biggest hoax, or is the conspiracy a hoax?
Okay, yes. But that's in half an hour, people. So we'll talk about that later. But first, we gotta take care of business and do what we normally do.
Yeah.
But before, Rob, why must you wear that shirt on the MNR TV live show? Why can't you be more like me and follow soccer? You know?
I don't know.
I'm a soccer guy. I'm Italian. What, are you French now? So when did you become?
I'm English. Look, the
British.
Montreal Canadians.
That's why they're the British colors. But me, I support soccer. I'm a soccer person.
Well, we both like soccer and hockey. Just one of us does one, the other one does the other. I don't have much of soccer. But look, I do.
I'm a summer person, Rob. I don't care about winter.
Oh, do you see it? Do you see it? My mouse. Italy.
You see this?
Ah, you have the cup. All right.
Here. You see that? I won the Stanley Cup. It's in my backyard. Remember I tell people, you know how many times I tell people, it's in the backyard? Well, this is it. It's in my pocket. It's in the Canadians' pocket. They're going to win the Stanley Cup. You heard it here first, and now we are spoiling it. You know why we're spoiling it? You know why we're spoiling it? Because we're talking servitude. People did not come to the MNR TV live show to listen to us talk about servitude. They did not come to this show to talk about Monica Lewinsky, who has reappeared in the news out of song. And since the 90s, whenever that happened, 1999, I don't remember. I don't need to remember. But you know what? I have a question to all my American patriots out there. You guys are the greatest. You know what I'm talking about, Mr. Miller and Steve and all the rest of yous. I have a question. Was there a false flag behind the Monica Lewinsky thing? I want people to do your research and put it in the description. I mean, sorry. No, my bad. Put it in the comments or talk about it on the show. That's my thing. That's what I want to talk about. So, Rob, shall we commence the introduction and everything? Should we?
No, we shouldn't, but we should. So go ahead and start it up.
Make up your mind, alrighty. Make up your mind, alrighty. You know, it's like here you are. You're going off. You're like an 18-wheeler going off a cliff again. What do you want? Shall we commence?
Well, we have to commence. You don't want to get Jean-Claude and Ernesto upset now, do we?
No. We won't get them upset. So this is who I am. From now on, you won't be seeing me anymore. You'll be hearing me. You'll be hearing my voice, and you'll be seeing what I'm posting. Okay, so now I'm going to go on to and show you the screen. All right, here
hit the screen, buddy.
All right, so here we go. Let me pick her upper. Where is she to pick her upper? Hey, I hate when it goes crazy on me.
Oh no, don't tell me it's jiggling and jangling everywhere right now, you know? That's not fun.
I think I have it.
Okay, great.
Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen. Oh no, what have we here? Oh, I hate when that happens.
Oh
Oh,
boy. Okay, you got it.
oh,
There's
it
like a
happens. Technology ain't perfect. So this is 120, 160. Robert's favorite, shall we say, blog, because it is a blog website, right?
yeah, yeah.
So you got the title, the description, the video. Here you click play. But if you don't see this video because you bookmarked the site, you just press refresh. It says ABC 123, and right underneath, of course, you got our Chatango, and there you go. Mr.
Our,
Miller and Steve are have just commented about the Monica Lewinsky. That's very important, people.
that's been the news today.
What's that, Rob?
It was in the news. She's back in the news.
Yeah, I know. Vanity Fair, or one of those useless magazines, put her there. So this is 120, 160. You could bookmark it. It wouldn't be such a shabby idea, right?
And
To
that's the
bookmark.
triangle right there, where there's a lot of there could be a lot of action in that chat room. It's wonderful to see.
Yeah, a lot of people. It's great. It's growing. It's growing. Next, our MNR
Oh,
production blog. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we actually have a blog, and it
isn't it
appears.
beautiful? The picture.
Pardon?
Love that picture. I love
Yeah.
that picture.
This is lovely Montreal, in case our American friends don't know or don't know how
Oh,
it looks like. There are new people out there that don't know how Montreal looks like. So this is it. It's the same thing, you know. Uh, the description's here, the video is here, and when it gets recorded, it will appear. You will see this, and you will see us, record. And same principle. They have Chatango, and on the
yeah.
side there, on the side here, you have all the previous shows, and all the way from 2006, where we began. We began this 2006, which is what, going to be 10 years, and 2 years from now. We
Eight
will
years.
make it. We shall make it. So this is it.
Unless, of course, we get abducted, but that's another story.
Yeah, unless that's a big question. Next. I guess that's it for the blog.
Yeah, hit
This
our next,
one.
the conspiracy talk. One of the fastest growing conspiracy groups on Facebook today,
And Google Plus. We
and
keep
Google
getting
Plus.
members on
Oh,
there.
but we'll show Google Plus after.
Well, no, I won't show, because what I post on Google Plus, I post on here. So it doesn't really make a difference.
Look at
But
that nice picture we put up there.
yeah, it's the same picture here and the same name. It's just that on Google Plus it's a community, so you can join that too. And a lot of people like what we put, but I like Google Plus more than this one. You know why? Because Google Plus, they don't take it down. They don't take pictures down. They don't take nothing down.
The information.
Facebook, there've been.
It's because we're growing. That's why the establishment knows what we're about, and we're growing, and they don't want the truth to be spread.
Well, the thing is why are they removing pictures that I
But
put?
they remove some of my information too at some points.
So
Not
that
all
is why, Rob, that is why it's very important to post it in two places, here and Google Plus. That's why I tell people go on Google Plus also, because a lot of things I can't post on here, I post on Google Plus, and that goes for everybody, you know? So here's the group. It has 521 people, 18 people new. And if people out there say, yeah, but you know what? How do we get to watch the MNR TV live show? It's very simple. Robert posts the link up right here, you know. It's
right here once the show's up.
so now that we got that out of the way, phew, that's a big load off my soul shoulders. So what do you got? I can never grasp.
Shoulders.
Shoulders.
Yeah.
Did I get it? I hate when that happens. You know, when they actually English is like that, but it's okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's still a nice language. I like it. I like it a lot. Anyhow, yeah. So this is what Robert posted up.
And so it's a great video to watch for people. An epidemic of demonic possession. 2014 was made in January.
Yeah, and people are keeping on
Posting,
like,
right? And one of our previous guests, Lisa High, she posted 3 hours ago.
yes,
Government
great
experiments,
post.
a thing of the past, but they are happening. Look at the pictures that I put up there. The first
A
picture
great
freaked me out.
post. Yeah. I mean, and she's again from beforeitsnews.com.
She's a writer for it. She's a wonderful guest that's appeared on our show in the past and will appear in the future again at some point. And we have more people posting up stuff right there.
Yes, you guys are the greatest. You guys just keep it alive, You're keeping this reality alive. So basically, people do check it out, check both out.
Go on Facebook or ask us to join the Conspiracy Talk, or if you don't know where to find it, or just type in the Conspiracy Talk on Facebook, you'll find it. And we add everybody, but we don't want spammers. No spammers allowed. We'll block them.
So we will check your profile out and make sure that you don't look fake, because we don't want people posting up stuff about sunglasses in this group. This is an amazing group, and we wanted to.
We worked 2 years on making this group a success, and the show too, and we're not going to start getting spammers in it. That's for sure.
But we can't do it without you people, because
no, of course not.
The best, the viewers. Okay, so now we shall commence the information. Now, Rob, your logo. Can we analyze your logo?
Yeah.
What do you see there? Me, I see an eye.
I see an eye.
Yeah, there is an eye. Look, right here. See, this is an eye right there. An eye, like, the eyes for us to see. Maybe horse. Is that how you say it? Horse.
Not horse. Horus. The eyes of Horus.
Yeah, it's right here. That's why they keep winning, and they're one of the most successful
franchises in sports.
Yeah, and then on top of that, they claim that they have the phantoms of the Forum, the old Forum. So what are they possessed?
Well, because of course ghosts, we know what they actually are. So it makes you wonder. But they haven't won. They haven't won since 1993. So maybe the Phantoms are getting restless now.
But I'm predicting they're winning the cup this year, and you heard it first on the MNR TV live show.
Hopefully so. I can't say anything.
Maybe.
Time will tell.
Anyway, we're still going to do the show. Rob, win cup or not, we still have to do the show, no matter what.
Yeah, why?
Right? Good.
Yeah.
Because we can't let our viewers down.
You mean if you don't win the cup, I won't do no show?
Yeah.
No, of course not.
Whatever. Okay. So now that we got that out of the way, now this has been going on. Like, people are talking a lot about this.
I had sent you this information yesterday. 1,500-year-old Bible claims Jesus Christ was not crucified. Vatican and all. What's your perspective on this?
Wait, before we continue, I gotta also tell people that all the links that I'm posting up on here are going to be posted in the description underneath the video clip. What I think of this, it's more ways of people, because you know what? People don't want law. That's the thing, right? And Jesus Christ, he is about laws. He came up with 600 laws or something like that. Old laws from the Old Testament, the new, the 10 Commandments. So people, they're finding all kinds of ways to say he didn't come, to try and discredit him, to say he never came. There's no such thing as Jesus Christ, right?
Yeah, and the problem with that is that, this is more propaganda. And let me get into it a bit. Discovered and kept secret in the year 2000, the book contains the Gospel of Barnabas, a disciple of Christ, which shows that Jesus was not crucified, nor was he the Son of God, but a prophet. The book calls Apostle Paul the impostor. The book also claims that Jesus ascended into to heaven alive and that Judas Iscariot was crucified in his place. I'm not going to read more because it's pure BS.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll make the people want to read it. I'll just skim down through it. But thing is, there will be more and more of these false things popping up here and there. You know, it's only normal. People, like I said, people don't want law, so by doing this, they get rid of the law.
Don't forget who's doing it also.
Lucifer.
Yeah.
Satan, you should say. Satan.
And so, speaking of Satan, some people say that Satan and Lucifer are two different people.
No.
But it's one person.
Yeah, before the fall and after the fall.
Yeah. What does that mean to atheists, agnostics, secular thinkers? Is the text real? Fake? Does it matter? Hopefully the news inspires the religious to ask questions instead of pointing fingers or believing anything blindly.
I don't believe this. I think it's... You know, I mean, they're just posting stuff. They post all kinds of stuff on the net. But that's why we're here. We're here to dissect what's happening, you know? So on to the next bit. I mean, that's all I have to say about that. There's always going to be people out there saying that, oh, it doesn't exist, and this and that doesn't happen, and this and that. But we'll touch more about that later on the show. Now, I came across this very interesting website. I almost fell off the chair of my seat with my coffee burning in my hand when I seen this. I was like, this is spectacular. But thing is, it's yeah, exactly like the title says, the Earth from Space Live. Yeah, you could see it from space live. I don't know if this has anything to do with conspiracy. You see, you just press play and a video will pop up here, and this is basically what you'll see. But I don't want to play it because
24-hour day Earth from space cam.
I don't want to play the video because you know how YouTube is. Oh, you're playing other people's stuff, so I can't press play. But you know what? By all means, people do press play. And look, here you can see how many people are viewing. See that? Current.
How many
views? You see that?
I see it. Yes. What you're seeing is live. The view right now from space. The cameras are part of an experiment to determine the long-term effects of conditions in space on cameras so that they can better design. Better design for the task. The cameras were brought up to orbit by the SpaceX Dragon capsule resupply mission in April 2014. And as astronauts installed them shortly thereafter. Oh wow! So we just go on that, and we could actually see what's going on the Earth from space.
No, Rob. This is what you'll get to see, right? This, nothing really major.
Okay.
But this is what you'll get to see, like the picture shows the Earth.
Yeah, but are they gonna block what it's supposed to be to show?
But you know what's interesting about this?
What?
You could actually look closely. You might be seeing a UFO.
That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly.
Wow, people. This is I'm telling you, when I saw this, I almost fell off the chair. It's a good thing I didn't, because like that, you know, I'd be in a hospital right now. Wouldn't be able to do the show, obviously.
Somebody said we should get in the chat. We should get a live stream from the moon. That would be awesome. But they would block some stuff if it's possible.
Who knows? They're probably working on that too.
But we'll be getting onto the moon later on the show. Now, the next article...
Hold on, Rob. Hold on. Give me time. Okay. This is from our backyard. You see that?
Bigfoot spotted hiking in Canadian mountains.
This is ridiculous. How the heck could they spot Bigfoot walking in the mountain? It's okay. We will show you why. Right?
Yeah, we will. New evidence of the legendary Yeti apparently hiking through a Canadian mountain range has just been made public. A hiker caught a large two-legged figure on video striding quickly through a snow-covered mountain range in British Columbia, Canada. Miles Lamont took this video 3 years ago, but has just uploaded recently, quickly chalking up nearly 500,000 views on YouTube. All right, and there, as you go down, we could see it right there, no?
Yeah, it's a very small. It's almost like an ant.
Yeah, that could be just anything.
But you know, they can see from everywhere. So here's the video. It just sucks we can't play it, but it's okay, you know? I mean, look, we can't have it all. Hopefully one day we'll get a TV show that we can show this, but we can't now, you know?
A TV show, and on top of that, we could play any music we bloody want.
Yeah, that I'd like. You know, we get royalties and we can play our glam metal. So this is the video of the Sasquatch.
Yeah, yeah. So that's pretty interesting that there's a possibility that there was a Sasquatch roaming the mountains in British Columbia.
Now, I came across, hold on, Rob, don't say anything until I bring it up, okay? Because I just want to make sure the viewers can view what I'm posting. This came up last week, but because we had a show the 25th of April. When was that? Last week or like last? Was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And whatever. I don't know if anybody has noticed this, but are they messing around with DNA, or is this a mere mass of kind of
Cover up.
What?
A cover up.
No. It starts with a C. That you don't like it when I say that. Coincidence. Exactly. Yes.
An unlikely love story ends with rare baby zonkey.
Yeah, it's a donkey mixed with a zonkey, but they're saying it's
a zebra.
It's a freak of wait, what did I say? Donkey and what?
A donkey and a I don't know. It's a donkey.
Anyways, doesn't matter what I said, and people will have to go back in time and see what I said. But it's a mixture exactly of a donkey and a zebra. But how could this be so?
A rare donkey, an unusual zebra and donkey crossbred, has been born at a zoo in northern Mexico.
Now, Rob, you think this is an accident? Or
no,
is it a coincidence?
No coincidences.
So this has been made by design.
It's been genetically manipulated, yes. Genetically altered. And it says over here, Kumba was born on April 21st at the Reynosa Zoo in the northeastern state of Tamaulipas. And there's the father right there. He's a dwarf blue-eyed albino donkey named Iguanito, lives at a nearby farm. And Kumba's mother is a female zebra called Reyes, and while the father is a dwarf blue-eyed albino donkey named Iganicio. Okay, so those are the parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
The unlikely love story began when Reyes visited Iguanito, who lived at a nearby farm. So is this some kind of is this the first time there's a zonkey?
No, well, I think this is the first time, but notice that they even gave it the name Zonkey. But don't forget, Rob, and I brought this up on previous show, I don't remember when, I think it was probably during the summer or the fall, that what is a mule? A mule is exactly that. It's a mixture between a donkey and a horse, I think it is.
Yeah. Somebody's saying it over here.
No.
Donkey and a female horse. One of our viewers.
And you know it says in the Bible, well, God's against those things. God doesn't like mules. I mean, yeah, he doesn't like mules because they've been genetically modified. He wants the real breed. God doesn't like it when people mess around with his creation.
But we've done shows on that before, and there's been a lot of that's not supposed to be there that's there.
But you know what? It's okay because we're going to keep doing shows like this until people out there grasp it and understand and get it. Oh, I hate when that happens. Okay. It always happens that I click on a different link and it brings me somewhere. The wonderful world of the internet does that to us. So this is it now. This is it. You see what I brought up? This is recent news, 11 hours ago.
Don't be afraid of robots. Be afraid of becoming one.
Yes, because they want to take our brains and put it on a robot, kind of like that 80s movie or 90s movie, which was
iRobot. I mean, no, the Terminator.
No.
Which?
RoboCop.
Ah, okay, RoboCop. That was an
It's
80s
an
movie.
80s
Yeah,
movie.
yeah, they recently remade it. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
which I never went and see it. Shame on me, some 80s person I am. So, or even you are, Rob, because you didn't go and see it. So this is the robot that they're practically working on. I mean, it's just to tell you the headings, the title of it, which means a lot. I don't know if there's anything in here that we can talk about.
It just talks about how they're gonna implant that to make us truly cyborgs and have brain apps, which they can monitor EEG signals and allow you to automatically detect when your brain is in a state of peak productivity. Okay, so
But you realize if they do this, our thoughts are never going to die. Like when now, if we die, God, God forbid that something happens that we die, because then there won't be no more show. Our thoughts will go. But if they put it on the robot will never die out, right? It's going to just be keeping on living. All you
yeah,
need is
but if you don't like our thoughts, they're gonna probably reprogram it because our
all
thoughts
you need is
because our thoughts
WD-40.
yeah, our thoughts are always about exposing the 13, the Illuminati, New World Order, the agenda, the alien agenda, and so on and so forth. Maybe they won't like that, so they'll short circuit and reprogram some of it. I'm sure that's what they're gonna do.
That, or you know what else they'll do? They won't give us any more WD-40. You know what that is?
Yeah. The oil.
Yeah. So like that, we'll have to squeak every time we walk around.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Okay, how about some great UFO news, which is coming up? Just give me a second. Let me just make it a little tad bigger so people can check it out. Now, yes, okay, Rob. So this is from the HuffPost Tech.
HuffPost. UFO conspiracy claims this rock face is proof of underground alien base.
So there's a
Okay.
video.
There's a video. We can't play the video, obviously. And hey guys, some American chap has found indisputable proof that aliens exist. Here it is. Is it even worth for us going there?
I think it's too bad we can't investigate because I'd like to investigate this place.
With the Montreal Anti-Illuminati Task Force, they would love that, unless they commission us to this summer. You never know. See the face that is indisputable proof that aliens exist, the face that is indisputable proof that aliens exist and is a marker for the secret underground base. Over to Scott Warren. In his post at UFO Sightings Daily, he says it's obvious that some kind of cloaking technology is at play here, hiding the mountains' faces from Google Earth map. This cloaking tech may even manipulate people's thoughts when around the faces to subconsciously force them to reject the notion of being a real face. Don't underestimate alien technologies and its abilities. They are ahead of us by millions of years of technical innovations. Or Scott, perhaps it's because the satellites used to take images for Google Earth are by their own very nature satellites high in the sky and such are incapable of photographing the sides of mountains, hence the stretched or cloaked appearance. But I don't believe that because they're able to pinpoint that. They have satellites that could pinpoint like what on the ground if there's a quarter. They're able to say a quarter or a dime or whatever, even the year that the quarter or the dollar was made. So you know.
But I just brought it up because I said maybe they're onto something, but it's worth talking about because it's out there in the news.
Exactly.
Yes, next one. Oh yeah, this one. I know. Yes, hold on. Trish is bothering me. She goes, "When am I going to come on?" She won't.
Tell to calm her horses down.
Yeah, listen, I mean, she's proud to want to be part of this show. Okay, the next topic.
Okay. Woman tells of her life plagued by UFO abductions, including encounter in Cardiff. Hillary Porter claims to have been abducted by aliens more times than she can count, including one while traveling near Cardiff. Are we able to get this woman in contact with her? I wonder, eh?
Well, we'll see. We'll see what our people in charge will say if they can contact her. It would be nice to have her.
Yeah, but usually they make me do that. So hopefully, I want, I mean, hopefully they'll give me good leads so I can find this woman. Depends what they say. It depends what Jean-Claude and Ernesto say. Anyhow,
Because you're under the gun, that's why. Anyhow, yeah, go on.
Hillary Hillary Porter claims that she was first abducted by aliens aged 5, and her life has been plagued by their visits ever since. The 67-year-old says she has been visited by creatures from other worlds more times than she can count, including one near Cardiff. I've been abducted, an alien abductee all my life, Hillary said. I didn't choose this life. I didn't ask for any of this, but it has been happening for as long as I can remember.
And she has pictures on it, on this website. There are pictures, but I'm not going to show. I'll make you guys go and
Well,
see.
we always see one show over here. And Hillary will be among more than 100 people at a national conference this month, seen by Anonymous Mind Management Abductee Contactee Halophene Project, AMAC. She will share her story and compare notes with others who claim to have similar experiences. The first close encounter she recalls claiming when she was 5 and playing in the long grass in a field behind her home. She told the mirror, "Suddenly there was a reptilian alien in front of me. It had scaly skin, black holes on the nose, and a little mouth. It wasn't very tall, maybe 5 feet, but very strong. It grabbed my arm and pulled me towards a disc in a depression in the field. It dragged me underneath into a lift, and the door slid closed. The next thing I knew, I was in a room with consoles and colored lights and little figures moving around." Hillary, who once worked for the Ministry of Defense, is sure she was abducted while driving near Cardiff in the 70s, and again by a hexagonal spacecraft while hanging out bunting at a charity event. She claims an alien broke into a top-secret laboratory at a local Marconi plant while she worked there in 1974. After abductions, Hillary said she suffers migraines and feels seriously ill. Sometimes she wakes up with fresh scar or bruises or blood. I've got a metal implant in my ear also. The doctor says it was wax. My partner Ken has a monitor that detects bugging devices. Wow. This poor woman, eh?
Yeah, I know. She's been through a lot.
Phew.
I mean,
To being abducted like this all the time, it's like a regular occurrence to her. There must be something why they chose her. They even put a tracking device on it.
so basically, this is it. This is her story. This is recent news, eh? By the way, it just like I think it came out within the past. I can show you.
Uh,
Where does it say that?
in this article, they're talking about when
Yeah,
the
May
aliens,
7th.
yeah, and when the aliens are fertilizing the eggs of the females that they take, and it's funny you put that up, and that's all I was doing all afternoon was researching this type of stuff.
Yeah, look, it says it right here. You see, it says it right here. They are.
I was straight. I was studying, researching. They tend to take females more for their eggs and genetic material for breeding purposes. We believe they are making a cross between aliens and humans. They've been making it for years. It's not something new, that's for sure.
No, maybe that's where the black-eyed kids come along, but we're not going to talk about that because we spoke about that. We made another show previous to this one about.
About the black-eyed kids, yes, we have for sure.
So there is a link between the two, and that's probably not a conspiracy, but hey, it's up to you to say it so. Now, linking to this, there is an answer for this woman, right? And a lot of people, and this is from you, Rob, because only you told me to get it. There is a link. Hold on, let me just make it bigger, Rob, so people can see.
I don't even see it currently now.
Any microscopes. We don't need them to use any microscopes to look at this.
When I found this information, everybody was like wanting to see it. Our people in our group, the Montreal Illuminati Task Force, wanted to see this. I had to print copies for them. The 10 reasons why aliens are actually fallen angel demons, and they just love this report that I found for them.
And I know you didn't tell me to put it on the show, but I said I must, I 100% must put this on the show. Okay, and here it is.
Yeah, right about, okay, yeah, right here. Number 1 to number 10, and we can see it here. I'm not going to go through it all, but aliens of our time are an exact match to the behavior of the demons and fallen angels mentioned in the Bible. Aliens never affirmed the deity of Christ, nor did they claim to come in his name. Aliens changed their stories to delude man into believing their lies. One example, this I'm going to read, of this is that before man had been to outer space or sent satellites, the aliens would claim to be from planets such as Jupiter in our solar system. As time went on, man learned about planets, about our planets, realizing that no one could live on such a planet or of gas. The aliens changed their story. Now they come from other solar systems and star clusters such as Andromeda or Pleiades. It's true. Do you remember when I was a kid, people say the green aliens from Mars, les Martiens, the Martians. They don't say that anymore.
No, it's not. No, no, no.
Because now we've got the technology to know, even though it's hidden. But yeah, exactly. And apparently, I don't know if this is true, number 5, which I hope it's true, alien abductions are stopped by invoking the name of Jesus. Well, I know when I was taken by the shadow people, the shadow crows, I had to invoke the name, and it did stop it. So I would imagine.
Well, me too. Don't go too far. The Hat Man. How did I get rid of the Hat Man? The name of Jesus Christ. So, you know what?
Yeah.
This goes back to the Bible that we've seen that book from the beginning. What is it called? The fake book that says that Christ never died on the cross.
Yeah, well, and it takes it just this proof over here just debunks the other story we had on before.
Yeah, because Christ died. Christ is very important. Christ knew stuff. Christ, there's no running away from it, people. You cannot run away from it. Number 4, is that important also?
Which?
Aliens, because you jumped to number 5.
It is in a way, but there are various accounts of aliens taking tissue samples for cloning and impregnating women, hence the entities known as incubus and succubus.
They're all very important, these points, you know. And number 6
brings ideas that man needs to unite worldwide for a new era of consciousness. The uniting involves being told to get ready for the leader Antichrist and to forget about one's religion, which will make a one-world religion government. Number 7, aliens often contact these new ages and occultists. This is not the case. This is not always the case. And the other walks of life have been contacted by aliens. However, in my position, these space brothers are not too interested in contacting Christians, and for obvious reasons. Aliens are not opposed to human worship, and they generally deny the creator. They assume the role instead. Number 9, aliens gave man technology by using these advancements are for destruction. These are black projects in the government, have their budgets. These projects are usually tied to weapons of war. Much of the technology, such as weaponry, is said to have come from extraterrestrial. Why don't these aliens ever give us life-saving technology?
Wait, hold on, Rob. Number 9, you know who used to do that? Who gave us all that? Nephilims. Fallen angels, Nephilims.
The Nephilims, yeah. Well, the Nephilims did that, yeah. But now they're dead. Well, most of them are dead, and they're evil spirits known as demons.
And number 10, Rob. Number 10 is very important.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And number 10, aliens oftentimes emit horrible odors, such as sulfur. Some call it the stench of hell.
Now, number 10, you know Phil Schneider?
Yeah.
He spoke out. He went through the holes. Okay, he went through the holes, and he said those aliens smelled of garbage. Maybe he was referring to those aliens smelling of sulfur. So those aliens were demons. The puzzle, you see, this is why people come to the show, because we uncover these things.
We debunk it. We try when there's a whole bunch of knots, we uncover it and we tangle it all up, so that there's no more of a problem to it. If that makes sense, you know what I mean, right?
Yes. So this is very important, people. Study it, bookmark it, look at it.
That's a very good article that I found.
Yes, it is, Rob. For once in a million times, you keep coming up with great things. You're on the ball, and I'm very happy that you find these things. It excites and stimulates the show. Oh,
exactly, you know, and in fact, everybody wants to see this article. I don't know why, but I was happy I found it. A little nice short article on it, and it was perfect. Sometimes small things come in good things come in small packages, such as this article.
yes.
And now you're gonna get Trish baby to come on the show, and
Boy, Rob, you're really on the ball today. I'm really impressed. I think you must have been drinking the coffee. Don't say the name.
yeah, I've been drinking coffee, obviously, so I'm kind of hyper, and it's nice outside. My team is winning, so it's all good, you know.
That's all la coupe, right, Rob?
The what? Yeah. And that's it. We're going to be coming back. We're going to go on break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about the moon landing hoax conspiracy that everyone wanted us. They've requested us to do a show. At one point, they said, do it. Please do it. We'd like to know more about it. People should know about it. And that's why we're going to do it right now.
Yes, so here goes.
I'll be back in a few minutes.
All right, take it away, Trish.
The moon landing hoax conspiracy. The moon landing hoax controversy is still evident after 36 years. Please read footnote below this text. On July 20th, 1969, our lives changed forever. This was not due to any disastrous event that took place here on Earth, but an amazing event that took place in the heavens, when the first man walked on that wondrous thing people had gazed at and wondered about for centuries, the moon. Our world was changing at that time in leaps and bounds. It was a time of endless possibilities. Many people think of this as a moon landing hoax or the first man on the moon hoax. In spite of all the evidence to the contrary, some people still believe that the landing of a man on the moon was a trick of television. Shadows on the moon. One of the arguments from skeptics to substantiate the moon landing hoax theory involves the shadows that illuminated from the lunar surface when the pictures that were sent back to us. They argue that if this is not a hoax, why is it that facts about the moon state there are no shadows in space? This argument about this moon landing hoax comes from believers that feel the sun is the only source of light in the universe. When you think of the moon, you must consider that the sun is not the only source of light on the moon and that the lunar surface reflects its own light which illuminates all things on the surface. Therefore, there is no credence in the theory of a moon landing hoax. The fluttering flag. Another part of the moon landing hoax theory deals with the American flag. The picture that was sent back showed this flag fluttering as in a wind. Some believers in the moon landing hoax feel that this was proof that this picture had been taken on Earth and not the result of a moon landing. The fact that the flag flutters in the wind when there is no wind on the moon could lend some degree of credibility to the belief that this was a hoax. However, experts, in an attempt to defend the landing against the moon landing hoax theory, explained that a vacuum has no friction. On the moon, things don't stop moving as quickly as they do on Earth. So when the astronauts got the flag attached to the surface and straightened, it stayed there longer than what we are accustomed to. Hence, the picture was taken with the flag waving as proof that the moon landing hoax theory is incorrect. Driving the rover. The pictures of the astronauts driving the rover also proved to many that this was a moon landing hoax. However, the projection of the speed of a film showing the astronauts driving in the moon proves that it really did happen. There were no clouds of dust rinsing from the tires of the rover because moon dust returns directly to the surface. Therefore, it was not possible back in 1969 to have this type of controlled environment in which to display a moon landing hoax. Footnote: so-called conspiracy theories like this, the first moon landing, can be an emotionally hot topic. The article above was written by a third-party contracted writer and merely suggests a few things to think about in support of the moon landing. In the future we may expand this topic. In the meantime, you'll have to look elsewhere if you want extensive research and detail of both sides of the argument, proof one way or the other, or want to strike up a debate.
Yes, Trish, that's why we're here. We're going to strike up the debate. We love doing that. Oh, thank you, Trish. Thank you for speaking, for giving your thought of the day.
And we're going to be having a lot of world of information over here about one crazy conspiracy over here, the moon landing. I mean, millions of people saw it in 1969. I wasn't born back then. And they saw it live on TV. Is it possible that this had happened, that they fooled millions of people or billions of people around the world with something so big as this? Is it even possible? And you know, NASA which should stand for never a straight answer. That's what it should stand for, because they give you a straight answer about anything. Everything's hidden. Anyhow.
They just hide stuff. They like to hide stuff. And who really controls them? Who funds them money? That's the question.
Well, we all know who. 10 reasons the moon landings could be a hoax. The theory that the moon landings were hoaxed by the U.S. government to assert the victory in the space race over Russia is something which has grown in popularity over time. Recent polls indicate that approximately 20% of Americans believe the U.S. has never even landed on the moon. After the Apollo missions ended in the 70s, why haven't we ever been back? Only during the term of Richard Nixon did humanity ever land on the moon. And after Watergate, most people wouldn't put it past Tricky Dick to fake them, to put America in good standing in the Cold War. In this list, we have presented the proposed evidence to suggest that the moon landings were a hoax. I tried to include NASA's explanations to each entry to provide an objective perspective. And number 10 is the waving flag. There's not supposed to be any wind on the moon, is there, Mario?
I don't know. I've never been there. I can't really say so because, you know, we don't know. But hey, if there's no clouds, there can't be wind, right?
Right.
The wind is what makes the clouds. I mean, sorry, the cloud is what makes the wind. But yeah, so if you notice the flag here, I don't know if you could see my cursor. You see? It's right here, right? You have like a little beam holding the flag up, and then it's moving there. Why? Why is that?
If there's no air, how did it move? You know, and okay, he didn't put it there.
This is what's keeping the flag up. Is this little piece of peg here? I don't know how you call that. It's like keeping the flag up. It's also it would be dropped. It would be down. Didn't you not notice that?
Exactly, and look at the shadows in the back.
Well, this flag has no shadow.
No, but like the shadows in the back, and you see nothing. It's a dark sky, nothing else, just pure black.
No stars, and if you be
no stars. Pardon?
If you would be up in space right now, you'd see nothing but stars. The reason why we can't see stars because we live in a metropolitan city and there's a lot of lights. You could see stars, but nothing, you know, you can't see.
When you're mountains.
Yeah.
You could.
Dark places. So that's number 10. Do I go to number, or do you want to read this, or?
Well, let's see now. Go on. Well, I'm not going to read it all, obviously.
Okay, I'll just go down slowly. So, Bud Aldrin.
Conspiracy theories are pointing that first moon landing was shown live. Right there, it says countless explanations have been put to disprove the phenomenon as unusual. NASA claims that the flag was stored in a thin tube and the rippled effect was causing it being unfurled before being planted. Other explanations involve the ripples caused by the reaction force of the astronauts touching the aluminum pole, which is shown to shake in the video footage. Number 9, lack of impact crater.
Yeah, there's nothing. Even though they say you don't have gravity on the moon. Like your gravity, which doesn't make sense, but because normally when you think about it, the moon is as big as, let's say, United States. So, I don't know. Yeah, it could be. It's a smaller planet. All right. Sorry about that. I was just thinking about something. Because they say on Jupiter we weigh like 3-4 times more than what we weigh here on Earth. So the moon is smaller. So yeah, there is gravity.
And look on the left side. What is that of that picture?
There's very little gravity. I don't know.
Those like strobe lights, don't they look like that?
These ones you mean?
Where? Put your cursor. No, on the left. Yeah, those two things. What is that?
I don't know.
Like when you think about it, they look like lights in a studio or something. If not, and that's on the moon, and there's just lights out there. What is that? What do you call those things? Orbs?
I don't know, Rob. If anybody has the answer, please do feel free to let us know because
Put it in the conspiracy talk, or in the chat room if everybody can see this now, you know. But just look at those two things right there. And even that thing that they circled. But I'm more interested in those things on the left-hand side.
Yeah, me too. That's what I was looking at. Like, it must be a camera. It must be a camera effect. That's my only answer.
It looks like it's just standing there, you know, just floating. The claim goes as follows: had NASA really landed on the moon, there would be a blast crater underneath the lunar module to mark its landing. On any video, footage, or photograph of the landings, no crater is visible, almost as though the module was simply placed there. The surface of the moon is covered in fine lunar dust, and even this doesn't seem to have been displaced in photographic evidence. Much like the waving flag theory, however, the lack of impact crater has a slew of potential explanations. NASA maintains that the module requires significantly less thrust in the low gravity conditions than it would have done on Earth. The surface of the moon itself is solid rock, so a blast crater probably wouldn't be feasible anyways, in the same way of an aeroplane that doesn't leave a crater when it touches down on a concrete airstrip. They seem to have all the answers, eh?
Yeah, but wait a minute here. Yes, you're right. But if you notice, there's footprints on the rock. How could there be footprints on the rock? There has to be a lot of sand. There's just not just rocks. It's not just a rock. There's sand in it too.
Well, yeah, of course. In order to create the footprints right there.
I don't know. Nothing makes sense.
But at the end of the show, we'll be revealing why they haven't gone back there. Because there's people that were wondering yesterday how come, and I told on Monday, and I told them I would reveal it at the end of the show.
Rob, you read my mind. I was about to ask. There must be a reason why, but I said, well, I'll save it for the end. You know.
Yeah, well, you saw the information after, so we'll get to that later.
No, I didn't. I want it to be as much as it's a surprise to me as it is to everybody. That's how I work.
What, with my research?
Yes, the news is where I, go all out in,
Yeah. Multiple light sources, number 8. And as we can see in this video, there's different types of light sources that we can see. From the left angle all the way to the right.
Weird.
And again, the same black, no stars, nothing. Okay. On the moon, there is only one strong light source, the sun. So it's fair to suggest that all shadows should run parallel to one another. But this was not the case during the moon landing. Videos and photographs clearly show that shadows fall in different directions. Conspiracy theorists suggest that this must mean multiple light sources are present, suggesting that the landing photographs were taken on a film set. NASA has attempted to blame uneven landscape on the strange shadows with subtle bumps and hills on the moon's surface, causing the discrepancies. This explanation has been tossed out the window by some theorists. How could hills cause such large angular difference? In the image above the lunar module, shadow clearly contradicts that of the rock in the foreground at almost a 45-degree angle.
Now, Rob, before we continue, wonder what they're covering here. You see, there's like a little.
Well, apparently, yeah. Apparently, on the moon, there's a pyramid. Even somebody said it in the chat room. The Buzz Aldrin saw pyramids, a huge crater and a pyramid in the center. Because one of our viewers actually went to a conference with Buzz Aldrin, and he was like maybe the second astronaut. Like he was with Neil Armstrong. And apparently, there's a pyramid.
Yeah, but we know that there's pyramids everywhere on Earth, on the moon, and on Mars. So.
And here's this, yeah, number 7, the Van Allen radiation belt. And if you remember when we used to do the old vocal show on one of our first very shows, we got to dispute with someone about the Van Allen radiation belt. Do you remember that?
Yeah, but Rob, that's like so long ago, I mean, I don't remember what I did 10 days ago.
I do remember. Anyhow, in order to reach the moon, astronauts had to pass through what is known as the Van Allen radiation belt. The belt is held in places by Earth's magnetic field and stays perpetually in the same place. The Apollo missions to the moon marked the first ever attempt to transport living humans through the belt. Conspiracy theorists contend that the sheer levels of radiation would have cooked the astronauts en route to the moon, despite the layers of aluminum coating the interior and exterior of the spaceship. NASA has countered this argument by emphasizing the short amount of time it took the astronauts to traverse the belt, meaning they received only a very small dose of radiation.
Yeah, I remember now. I remember who it was, and it was some guy. I was thinking to myself, well, why is this guy talking Chinese to me?
He
What
was
is this?
Chinese,
Pardon?
and the guy was Chinese. His name was Dark. His name was Dark Smoke or something like that, and it was our first or second show back in February 2012. Eh?
I remember we were like all excited about the show, but now this is even better.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I remember we were having a whole debate. We could have made a show just on that.
Yeah, and he wouldn't stop.
Yeah, I miss that guy. I wish he comes back and watch.
He was like one of our first viewers.
Yeah, so all respect to the guy.
Yes. The unexplainable object. Number 6, right there. What is that?
To me, it looks like the CN Tower.
I don't know what it is, but let's get down to the article and read it for our viewers I'm sure they want to know too.
Okay, and there it is. That's the explanation these guys have.
Right here. After photographs of the moon landings were released, theorists were quick to notice a mysterious object shown above in the reflection of an astronaut's helmet from the Apollo 12 missions. The object appears to be hanging from a rope or wire and has no reasons to be there at all, leading some to suggest it is an overhead spotlight typically found in film studios. The resemblance is questionable given the poor quality of the photograph, but the mystery remains as to why something is being suspended in mid-air, or rather lack of air, on the moon. The lunar module in other photos appears to have no extension from it that match the photos, so that the objects still remain totally unexplained. That is like, you're wondering, what the heck is that? Like, how could something just suspended in midair out of nowhere? What is it, simply magic?
Or it's Photoshop at its worst.
Back in the 60s, they didn't have Photoshop.
Well, Rob, trust me, the things we have now.
They had in the 60s.
They had, like, you keep saying that the Illuminati is what, 10 years ahead of us.
What 10 years? 50?
Okay, 50 years. Okay, so this happened when?
40 years ago.
How old? How much?
About 45 years ago. 45.
Okay, so that was nothing. They were well advanced then, so I was close. 55. Sorry, missing 5 years for 50. I was close. They're in advanced. Okay, number 5, right?
Yeah. Go down to number 5. Slow motion walking and hidden cables.
Now the thing is we cannot play. This is a video, but I think they took it down. Yeah.
Yeah, they did take it down.
Probably NASA got to it.
They did, yeah, they did, for sure. Okay. In order to support claims that the moon landings were shot in a studio, conspiracy theorists had to account the apparent low-gravity conditions, which must have mimicked by NASA. It has been suggested that if you take the moon landing footage and increase the speed of the film times 2.5, the astronauts would appear to be moving in Earth's gravity. As for the astronauts' impressive jump height, which would be impossible to perform in Earth's gravity, hidden cables and wires have been suggested as giving the astronauts some extra height. In some screenshots, outline of alleged hidden cables can be seen. The photograph above supposedly shows a wire that is extremely vague. Now,
I don't know what to make of that,
Robert. You can't see it though, but yeah, for sure if they had to fake it, they had to use some kind of cables. Number 4, which we were talking about before, lack of stars.
Yeah, how odd. How very odd. Look at that. No stars.
No nothing.
Impossible.
One compelling argument for the moon landing hoax is the total lack of stars in any of the photographic video evidence. There were no clouds on the moon, so stars are perpetually visual and significantly brighter than what we see through the filter of Earth's atmosphere. The argument here is that NASA would have found it impossible to map out the exact locations of all stars for the hoax without being rumpled, and therefore let them out, intentionally falling back on excuse that the quality of the photograph washes them out, an excuse they did actually give. Some photographs are higher quality, however, and yet still no stars are shown. Certainly eerie, considering you can take pictures of stars from Earth in much lower quality and still see them. This could be the smoking gun, Mario.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's. I mean, I don't have no comments towards this because.
I mean, I could see stars with my glasses and take pictures with my low camera, and we'd still see stars.
That's why this whole thing is probably not true. That they
It's not bogus.
Okay, the sea rock. Oh, there's the sea on the rock. Look at that.
Let me go to it. The sea rock. Oh yes, the sea rock. One of the most famous pictures from the moon landing shows a rock in the foreground, which would appear to be the letter C is engraved in it. The letter appears to be almost perfectly symmetrical, meaning it is unlikely to be a natural occurrence. It has been suggested that the rock is simply a prop, with the C used as a marker by an alleged film crew. A set designer could have turned the rock the wrong way, accidentally exposing the marking for the camera. NASA gives conflicting excuses for the letter. On one hand, blaming a photographic developer for adding the letter C as a practical joke, while on the other hand, saying that it may simply have been a stray hair which got tangled up somewhere in the developing process. Sure, yeah, right.
No, what I think? I think whoever was there on the moon before put this there, but that now we're talking.
If they even went on the moon.
If they even went, that's it. But or the ones that went before. But then again,
Did they actually go on the moon?
We're taught.
Yeah, exactly.
Number 2.
Right here, the layered crosshairs, right there. Now, this over here is pretty. I find it kind of fascinating. Do you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the cameras used by astronauts during the moon landings have a multitude of crosshairs to aid with scaling and direction. These are imprinted over the top of all photographs. Some of the images, however, clearly show the crosshairs behind the objects in the scene, implying that photographs may have been edited or doctored after being taken. The photograph shown above is not an isolated occurrence. Many objects are shown to be in front of the crosshairs, including the American flag in one picture and the lunar rover in another. Conspiracy theorists have suggested NASA printed the man-made objects over a legitimate photograph of the moon to hoax the landing. Although if they really plan on doing this, then why they used crosshairs in the first place is a mystery.
I don't know why they did that. Anybody know out there? Please let us know. Why did they use crosshairs?
Exactly. And NASA is never a straight answer. That's what NASA stands for.
And number 1, what we've all been waiting for.
Well, the duplicate background. Multiple use of sets and backdrops. Right here, look at that. Backgrounds match exactly. As we go down, we see the picture here. Notice, not one star anywhere.
No, nothing. I bet you they were hiding a city there. Could it be?
Definitely. And we go down. Is there the writing?
Definitely is.
The two photos from the Apollo 15 missions are shown above clearly have identical backdrops, despite being officially listed by NASA as having been taken miles apart. One photo even shows the lunar module, with all photographs were taken. The modules have already landed, so how can it be possible for one photo and disappear in another. While if you're a hardcore conspiracy theorist, it may seem viable that NASA simply uses the same background while filming different scenes of their moon landing videos. NASA suggested that since the moon is much smaller than the Earth, horizons can appear significantly closer to the human eye. Despite this, the two hills visible to the photographs are miles apart is incontrovertibly false. There's a lot of unanswered questions to this.
I don't know if there's more, or is this it?
Well, Stanley Kubrick, popularity comes theory from director Stanley Kubrick was approached by the U.S. government to hoax the first 3 moon landings. There are two main branches of this somewhat implausible theory. One group of believers maintain that Kubrick was approached after he released 2001: A Space Odyssey, released in 1968, 1 year before the moon landing. After NASA came to appreciate the stunning realism of the film's outer space scenes at the time, another group contends that Kubrick was groomed by the government to film the moon landing long before this, and that 2001: Space Odyssey was a staged practice run for him. So what evidence might support such claims? Well, apparently if you watch The Shining, another Kubrick picture, you can pick up on some alleged messages hidden by Kubrick to subtly inform the world on the part of this conspiracy. The most obvious is the child's Apollo 11 shirt, worn in only one scene. Another supposedly gem in the line written on Jack Nicholson's character typewriter, "All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy," in which other words all can be interpreted as A11 or Apollo 11. Wow, that's pretty fascinating when you ask me. But don't forget that this conspiracy would have to have hundreds of people would have to shut up about it. They can't say anything.
Yeah, well, that's what they want. They want people to, not talk about it. Maybe this was just a false flag, eh?
But the thing is, how many people would have to keep quiet about it?
As much as they want, as much as they could. They want everybody not to talk about it.
Why do some people believe the moon landings were a hoax? Ever since NASA broadcast live its visits to the moon between 1969 and 1972, millions of people around Earth, conspiracy theorists have debated endlessly over photographs and videos of the journey. Judging by the dedication some have to cause the subject of whether the moon landings were a hoax, rivals only the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy and the presence of Area 51 in popularity. The Fox networks even aired a television special in 2001, nearly 30 years after the last Apollo mission, titled Conspiracy Theory: Did We Land on the Moon? And look at that. Nice picture over here.
But only one star we have.
No stars, yeah, no stars.
Wait, maybe that was a piece of dirt that they forgot to clean, maybe. That's what that was.
Yeah, exactly. Right there, haha. Poring over every single detail for inconsistency and potential government tampering, people who buy the moon landing conspiracy theory strive to prove NASA never went to the moon. Instead, they believe the organization filmed a series of fake moon landings in a studio complete with props, astronaut costumes, and intricate lighting setups. This article's good, folks.
Yeah, there it is. It's very, I don't know if we want to continue or...
But what NASA and the U.S. government pulled such a strange stunts. The moon landings took place during the Cold War and a tense point in the nuclear arms race, an era in which the two world superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, or what is now Russia, competed for technological superiority. Some believe that because sending astronauts into outer space and onto the moon would be incredibly expensive, the US didn't have enough money to complete the project. According to the conspiracy theorists, faking the moon landings would be much cheaper. If it were convincing enough, it could still send a message to Russia that the United States had better technology. And
because they stole it from the aliens. Anyhow, go on.
What are some of the claims by the moon landing conspiracy theorists? What have they pointed out? And do their arguments have any validity? And what do scientists have to say about the conspiracy theories? To answer these questions and more, put on your tinfoil hats and read the next page. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of information there.
The next page, should we or no?
Yes.
Yeah. See, I'm clicking for people. They don't have to do it.
And here we go. Why? And the moon landing hoax evidence. So what evidence? Nearly 40 years of research has given them some interesting points. And the points. We're just going to read some of the points here. There aren't any stars in the background. Well, we covered that before. It just looks like a big black void of space. Since the moon has no atmosphere, shouldn't there be millions of stars dotting the background of these photographs? If the landings were faked, a studio stage, did the photographer make a huge mistake or just forgot to turn on the stars?
This is mainly what we spoke about before, eh?
Yeah, that, the Sea Rock, number 2, for people that have missed it. Another great article. And go to the next page, and we'll get back to that. I'm not going to read it all because we've covered that.
Many times you don't want to repeat ourselves.
No, we don't. That's the last thing we want to do. The American, number 4, the American flag appears to flap in the breeze. We've covered that. But this is good to show because there's more than just one website where we get the information from, you know.
And different ideas also.
And different ideas, different angles. And there's number 4 right there. The flapping, slow motion, film, and wires. We covered that. And there's the space rover right there. What do you call that? Is that what it's called?
No, it's not a rover. I forget what it's called.
I call it the moon. The Moonmobile.
It doesn't say. It doesn't even say on here.
What did it run on anyway? Did they put gas in there?
I think solar power probably. Could it be?
Well, why don't they solar power our cell phones now so we don't need the damn battery to charge it all the time?
Because then the companies that make the batteries will go out.
Money.
Yes, like, you know, anyways, but that's a whole different topic on itself. We won't want to, you know, consume our showtime right now for this. This is, you know, we'll talk about that some other time.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so go down, and so these other points right there were just fakes. And then it goes on to talk about Dr. David McKay, who's a scientist for planetary science and exploration at NASA, and notes after Fox conspiracy theory television spot that faking the moon landings and duping thousands of scientists around the world would probably be more difficult than keeping the secrets of the Manhattan Project. Huh.
So much things out there.
If they were covering this up, it would take millions of people to keep quiet. And as something this big, you can't tell people to keep quiet. Yes. Yeah, the lunar roving vehicle. That's what.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was right. There was something about some kind of, what did I say? Lunar rover, whatever I said before.
Well, where did you see it? On the website?
No, in the chat room.
Okay.
Lunar rover it was battery powered.
Battery powered, okay.
Yeah, right there. The rover. I called it the rover, but it was roving vehicle, the LRV.
Anyhow, that's it for that article, looks like. I mean, I thought there'd be something on number 4, but number 4 was just, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And
okay, hold on. Let me get to the next one. Hold on. Let me just position it so people can see it. And, you know, we don't want people straining their eyes. You know, we don't want to be known for doing such thing. Okay, the next one right here. I hate when that happens. Okay.
How Stanley Kubrick faked the moon landings. The Apollo moon landings. There are great ideas, undiscovered breakthroughs available to those who can remove one of the two protective layers. Neil Armstrong, first man on the moon, July 20th, 1994.
Yeah, maybe when this was written or when he spoke about it.
69, yeah.
Oh, no, wait a minute, Rob. Neil Armstrong. That's his quote when he said the quote.
Yeah, it has. That's what I figured. It has been It has been 40 years since, well, the fabled moon landings by NASA and the Apollo gang. When it comes to the subject of the moon landings, people tend to fall into two belief groups. The first group, by far the bigger of the two groups, accepts the fact that NASA successfully landed on the moon 6 times and that 12 human beings have actually walked on the surface of the moon. The second group, though far smaller, is more vocal about their beliefs. This group says that we never went on the moon and the entire thing was faked. This essay presents a third position of the issue. This third point of view somehow falls between the two assertions. This third position postulates that humans did go to the moon, but what we saw on TV and in photograph was completely faked. Furthermore, the third position reveals to the great filmmaker Stu Kubrick is the genius who directed the hoax landings. Motivation by faking. But why fake the moon landings at all? What would be the motivations? Authors Joseph Farrell and Henry Stevens both have shown us undeniable proof that Nazi scientists had developed advanced flying saucer technologies as early as 1943. These authors also show that the US government brought these same Nazi scientists to the country in order to build these highly advanced flying machines. Furthermore, they believe that the ideas that aliens from outer space are invading the Earth is a clever cover-up concocted by NASA to hide this technology. Many sources inside the military-industrial complex have related to me that John F. Kennedy was showing the flying saucer technology early in his presidency. He realized that the advance in technology promised by the flying saucers could solve many of the pressing problems of the world. He said that releasing this exotic technology would point the way towards cheap and environmentally friendly energy, among other things. Soon after seeing flying saucer technology, JFK made his famous speech asking NASA to land man on the moon before the decade was out. Many insiders believe that this was a ploy by JFK to get NASA and the secret government to release their saucer technologies. Since it was obvious to everyone that the standard rocket technology could not get man to the moon and back, JFK may have thought that NASA would be forced to release the knowledge of the technology behind the flying saucers in order to fulfill their visions and get the moon by the end of 1960s. JFK's ploy was therefore intended to free this advanced technology from the insidious hands of the shadow government, known as the Illuminati, my adding. After the assassination of Kennedy in 1963, NASA began a new plan that would solve the problem that JFK initiated. This plan would allow NASA and the shadow government to keep the saucer technology secret and to still make it look like standard rocketry and had man taken to the moon and back. Some high up in the shadow government decided to fake the entire series of moon landings in order to conceal the US extremely new and advanced Nazi technology from both US, from us, the citizens, and our enemies. Did we really want to show the Russians what we had? Pretty interesting article.
Yeah, there's a lot of information on here.
Number 2, who will fake it? In 1964, Stanley Kubrick has just finished his black satire Dr. Strangelove and was looking to do a science fiction film. While Dr. Strangelove, Kubrick had asked the US Air Force for permission to film one of the B-52 bombers from the movie. The Pentagon turned him down. The movie's Dr. Strangelove was about a flight squadron that had been ordered to fly to Russia and drop nuclear bombs on the country. The Pentagon read Kubrick's script and rejected his request to actually film the inside and outside of a B-52. The reason for the rejection was that Kubrick's film was clearly a satire on the military and US nuclear policy. The Pentagon did not want to assist Kubrick in his satirical undertaking. Undaunted by the rejection, Kubrick used various special effects to create B-52 in the flight. When viewing Dr. Strangelove today, these special effects look quaint and old-fashioned, but in 1963 they look very good. Is it possible that someone in NASA saw what Kubrick had done in Dr. Strangelove and admiring his artfulness, designated Kubrick as the person best qualified to direct the Apollo moon landings? If he could do that on his limited budget, what could he do on an unlimited budget? Yeah, so here it basically talks about that they hired this guy because he had like all this art and technology, and he knew what he was doing to fake the moon landings. He was the perfect man to do this.
You could have asked me. I would have been able to do it.
You weren't around back then.
I know. I know. Is there anything else?
No, not in that one. It goes on and on, but we don't want to read it. We're not here to read the whole thing, you know. Our viewers, if they want to see, they'll be able to see it for sure.
But this is to show you that there's proof that, you know, there's stuff on the net. It's all full of this stuff.
Well, you have to look. It is uncanny. Number 3, paralleling events. It is uncanny the way the productions of 2001, A Space Odyssey parallels the Apollo program. The film production started in 1964 and went on to release of 2001, A Space Odyssey in 1968. Meanwhile, the Apollo program has also began in 1964 and culminated with the first moon landings on July 20th, 1969. Also, it is very interesting to note that scientist Frederick Ordway was working with both for NASA and the Apollo program, and also Kubrick's top scientist advisory for 2001: A Space Odyssey. You have to make the scenes look wide open and expansive, like it was really done on the moon and not in the studio back lot. So this guy had a lot to do.
I wonder what happened to this guy. Must be dead.
I don't know. So I really wouldn't know about it.
And there you go. We're back to Hollywood. Right
here, yeah, Hollywood trickery. No one knows how many things he tried, but eventually Kubrick settled down on doing the entire thing with a cinematic technique called front screen projection. It is the use of the cinematic technique that the fingerprints of Kubrick can be seen all over the NASA Apollo photograph and video material. What is front screen projection? Kubrick did not invent the process, but there is no doubt that he perfected it. Front screen projection is a cinematic device that allows screens to be projected behind the actors so that it appears in the camera as if the actors are moving around the set, provided by the front screen projection. The process came into fruition when 3M Company invented a material called Scotchlite. This was a screen material that was made up of thousands of tiny glass beads, each about 4 millimeters wide. These beads being highly reflective. In the front screen projection process, the Scotchlite screens would be placed at the back of the sound stage. The plane of the camera lens and the Scotchlite screens had to be exactly 90 degrees apart. A projector would project the screens over the Scotchlite screens through a mirror, and the light would go through a beam splitter, which would pass the light into the camera. An actor would stand in from the Scotchlite screen, and he would appear to be inside the projection. Pretty high tech for back then.
Yeah. And
there's hey, go ahead.
This is what they were doing
back then, and it's very possible.
Okay.
But you know, the thing is with this, yeah, he died, eh? Stanley Kubrick died.
Is that what they said in the chat?
Yeah, he died of a sudden heart attack.
Does anybody know when?
Pardon?
Does anybody know when?
Well, I'm gonna wait for it. Or maybe someone's gonna post it. Today, Hollywood, just goes on to say, I'm not going to read all of this because it's a lot. In early 2001, the actors were in ape costumes. They put on apes. What do you think of that? Ape costumes. Ape men.
Why?
Well, to make this movie.
Oh, okay. I still have to see that movie, 2001.
You know, I'd rather see something 2014 in 2001. Even though the movie's called 2001.
Do I keep going down, Rob?
Yeah, you know when he died? Listen to this. He died exactly 666 days before January 1st, 2001, the first day of the year in which his most famous film takes place.
Thank you for the information. The watchers are on, the viewers are on the ball also tonight. Everybody is on the ball. Thank you.
Exactly. And there you could look at a little snippet right there of the movie
Planet of the Apes,
2001,
or is it 2001?
I believe, or next, in the same image above, I processed through a graphic program. In this process, I've increased the gamma and increased the contrast. Please examine. And there's more evidence, but this is it's getting into the technical part, which we don't want to bore viewers with.
Nothing is boring, but I'm sure you know people say, okay, so get to the point already. But
this is it's the technique that they're using over here. You can see it here from the water scene from 2001.
that's again the projector.
Yeah, the image.
This is a long article, Rob.
Yeah, I know. Very long article, but this we're not going to go through it all. This is perfect for people that want to know how did they do this. What is it? What is the technique? Well, it says it right there. How Kubrick did it all.
It's all camera angles and.
Yeah, it is for sure. Yeah, so I think we'll.
Yeah, because this just talks about how.
Technique, exactly. We're not here to talk about the technique. We put it there. People can see if they want, because we're not doing a show about special effects over here. And then it shows the moon, how it could have been altered, the pictures, the videos.
Like I keep saying, and I'll repeat it again, all this will be in the description, so you guys can go and, ladies and gentlemen, I should say, you can all go analyze it and see for yourselves.
Yeah, so it's a long article right there.
I think we should go to the next one, Rob.
Yeah, this is very long, and
well, look at that, I'm only halfway.
Exactly. So they'll be able to, they'll get the idea of it if they want to look how could he have done a technology like this, the techniques he used. Just go to that article.
Well, they get the drift. That's the whole point. Hold on, let me just make sure it's adjusted. The next article, which is coming up right now again.
NASA.gv, .government, I mean.
Oh, this is from NASA.
The Great Moon Hoax. Moon rocks and common sense prove Apollo astronauts really did visit the moon. This is NASA, what they're saying. Last week, on February 23rd, 2001, last week my phone rang. It was my mother. She was upset. Tony, she exclaimed, I just came from the coffee shop, and there's an adjective. There's a man down there who says NASA never landed on the moon. Everyone was talking about it. I didn't know what to say. The last bit was hard to swallow. I thought Mom's never lost for words. But even more incredible is the controversy that swirled through her small town diner and places like it across the country. After long absence, the moon hoax was back. Astronaut Buzz Aldrin on the surface of the moon in 1969 talks about that he did go to the moon and that the moon landing wasn't up to the task. Well, what does it say? NASA technology in the 1960s wasn't up to the task of a real moon landing. Instead, anxious to win the space race any way it could, NASA acted out the Apollo program in movie studios. Neil Armstrong's historic first steps on another world, the roll-licking moon buggy ride, even Al Shepard's icing golf shot over fur moles. It was all fake. Fortunately, the Soviets didn't think of the gag first. They could have filmed their own fake moon landing and really embarrassed the free world. Shows like Conspiracy Theory ought to be tongue-in-cheek as they sound. Unfortunately, they were an earnest field to the Fox broadcast, enough to make you wonder the programs might have fallen under their own spell. According to NASA, a blundering movie producer 30 years ago For example, conspiracy theory pundits pointed out a seeming discrepancy in Apollo imagery. Pictures of astronauts transmitted from the moon don't include stars in the dark lunar sky and obvious production errors. What happened? Did NASA filmmakers forget to turn on the constellations? And there's just more information. Here they're talking about when they erected the U.S. flag on the moon, shows the flag bending and ripping. How can that be? After all, there's no breeze on the moon. But they put it there, and it's still, it's still blue afterwards. It's not, it's just not, they planted it and it shook like that. There was still like some kind of breeze to it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know, man. But I give you my opinion on why it's doing all that.
But we forget that they did this to win the space race because John F. Kennedy told them, I want to put a man by the end of the decade, so they had to do something. And moon rocks. Moon rocks are absolutely unique, says Dr. David McKay. Again, he's right here. We'll mention his name before. McKay is a member of the group that oversees the Lunar Sample Laboratory facilities at JSC, where most of the moon rocks are stored. They differ from Earth rocks in many aspects, he added. For example, Dr. Mark Lunar, a lunar geologist at the University of Tasmania, lunar samples have almost no water trapped in the crystal structures, and common substances such as clay minerals that are ambiguous on Earth are totally absent on the moon. So you see, there's a difference between moon rock and Earth rock, obviously.
Yeah.
And meteoroids, right here. Meteoroids are nearly microscopic specks of comet dust that fly through the space at speeds often exceeding 50,000 miles per hour, 10 times faster than a speeding bullet. They pack a considerable punch, but they are extremely fragile. Meteoroids, zap pits. A close-up view of a 1 millimeter diameter zap pit shows tiny craters lined with black glass surrounded by white hail of shock rock. So these things are different. The meteorites are different from moon rocks, which could in actuality be Earth rocks, if the conspiracy is there.
It's very hard to say,
Well, the NWO has reasons for covering up, and they put what they want and they put what they don't want. Yeah, so is there anything else? If we go down,
no,
let's just talk about the rocks. Yeah, so that's it for that article. So another proof, if you want to look at, is the moon rocks that differ from Earth rocks. Another piece of evidence that we present to you.
Yeah, it's always good to analyze these things for yourself, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Here we're like saying, what we feel, but,
And this is
what we see, but...
Yeah, and this is from CNN.com in July 17, 2009. Could moon landings have been faked? Some still think so. It captivated millions of people around the world for 8 days in the summer of 1969. It brought glory to the embattled U.S. space program and inspired beliefs that anything was possible. It's arguably the greatest technological feat of the 20th century, and to some, it was still a lie. 40 years after Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin set foot on the moon, a small cult of conspiracy theorists maintained the historic event that the 5 subsequent Apollo moon landings were staged. These people believe NASA fabricated the landings to trump the Soviet rivals, and fulfill President Kennedy's goal of ferrying humans safely to and from the moon by the end of the 1960s. I do know the moon landings were faked, said crusading filmmaker Bart Sibrel, whose aggressive interview tactics once provoked Aldrin to punch him in the face. I'd bet my life on it. I've seen that video where he gets punched. Sibrel may have seemed crazy, but he has company. A 1999 Gallup poll found that a scant 6% of Americans doubt that Apollo moon landings happened, and there is anecdotal evidence that the ranks of such conspiracy theorists, fueled by innuendo, filed documentaries, and the internet, are growing. 25% of respondents in a survey in the British magazine Engineering and Technology said they do not believe humans landed on the moon. That's a lot, and a host of websites and blogs circulate suspicion. And a Google search this week for Apollo moon landings hoax used more than 1.5 billion results, folks. You hear that, Mario? 1.5 billion results. So
And
there is something there.
this show will be part of that.
Yeah, we will be part of this 1.5 billion when they do search as soon as this show is in fact recorded.
Okay.
Casing theorizes NASA sent the Apollo 11 astronauts up in a rocket until it was out of sight, then transferred the lunar capsule and its 3 passengers to a military cargo plane that dropped the capsule 8 days later in the Pacific, where it was recovered. In the meantime, he believed NASA officials filmed the moon landing at Area 51. We all know the infamous Area 51, do we not? The highly securely military base in the Nevada desert, and brainwashed the astronauts to ensure their cooperation. Some believe Casing's theories inspired the 1978 movie Capricorn 1, in which NASA fakes a Mars landing on a remote military base, then goes to desperate lengths to cover it up. Others insist that NASA recruited
Director Stanley Kubrick.
I can't see because you're moving it.
No, right here. You were here.
Okay. Kubrick to a space odyssey to film the fake moon landings. And those moon rocks, lunar meteorites from Antarctica, decades later, Casing believed formed the foundation for conspiracy theories. Did we land on the moon? A sensational 2001 Fox documentary that spotted eerie inconsistencies in NASA's Apollo image and TV footage. Among them, no blast craters are visible under the landing module. Shadows intersect instead of running parallel, suggest the presence of an unnatural light sources, and they planted American flags to ripple in a breeze, although there's no wind on the moon. Yeah, so that's pretty good, and then a pretty good article, pretty good information. And unfortunately, Casing died in 2005, but not before grabbing the attention of Sibrel.
I'm just going down.
NASA, he died, and he got the attention because he they continued investigating into this. So people are wondering what the heck happened, and debunkers are saying that NASA also has an ace up their sleeve.
They do. NASA is.
Because who owns NASA? Who runs them? You know.
The shadow government.
Yeah.
It's the Federal Reserve.
Well, the Federal Reserve, that's a whole different topic over here.
The next article, the next
article. Now it's getting very interesting, folks, because we're getting to some good information that's going to be coming up very soon. I can't wait for that.
Okay, and here she is.
It'll be coming up very soon.
Here she is.
How do we know the moon landing isn't faked? Right here. This was fairly recently done, April 14, 2014. Just last month.
Yeah.
There's a conspiracy theory that astronauts never landed on the moon.
Okay.
It's all a conspiracy. Were the moon landings faked? What is the evidence that we actually went to the moon? Apparently there's an organization called NASA who's done a remarkable job of sticking to their story. They say Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin landed on the moon on July 28, 1969 and set foot on the surface 6 hours later. The same organization claims there were 5 additional missions which successfully landed on the moon, and an alleged total of 12 people for a walk there. Can you imagine? According to them, they spent $24 billion, which is more than $150 billion in inflation-adjusted dollars. The so-called Apollo program allegedly employed 400,000 people, supporting more by 20,000 companies and research institutions. I say alleged. Some people choose to think the moon landings were acts of cinematic chicanery. More than 10 years ago, Fox popularized the moon landings conspiracy with a show called Did We Land on the Moon? Well, I'm not going to go through that. We talked about that before. But then it goes on to say right there that the evidence against the moon landing is at best fantasy and misunderstanding. A more cynical view might be suggested it's a deliberate manipulation created to maintain an anti-scientific narrative, to foster ignorance, mistrust, and uphold a larger political agenda. Do a little search for Phil Flake moon landing, and you'll see him present evidence, hand science over any of the arguments. In fact, if you buy into the whole evidence idea, he appears to successfully tear apart the conspiracy arguments. But him, he goes that saying that they did land on the moon. So this is another part of the view, because we have to present both sides of it, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, the conspiracy side and what they say. But you know, as you always say, when the mainstream news says something, it's always the opposite, right?
Yeah, that in the government. When they say, oh, we're not going to hire taxes, well, they are going to hire taxes. Big liars, but...
Exactly. And yeah, so that's it. I think that's over here for this one article. It's a very, very long article, a world of information right there. And the image...
Oh, no, it's not that long. No, Rob, it's not that long. But anyhow.
No, the comments, you know, I'm going to read, there's a lot of comments on it.
Go to the next.
By all means. And now we get to the good parts, I believe.
Because you know what? Time is like not on our side. And we're having so much fun.
I know. Exactly.
And this one is from the
Huffington Post, March 7, 2014.
Hold on, Rob, because I clicked again. This is like the third time my mouse gives me somewhere else.
Wait a minute. May 7, 2014. What are we today? Weird.
I don't see that. I don't see that.
Go more up. I saw that before.
Oh yeah, May 7th, okay.
But that's today.
Yeah.
But I sent you this yesterday.
I don't know what's happening. It's confusing us.
Today's May 7th. We're May 7th today, but I sent you this article yesterday.
Yeah, but look, it was first posted and updated, so it's always changing.
Buzz Aldrin punches moon landing conspiracy theorists in the face, and I saw this video. He really punched them in the face because Buzz Aldrin got accused of saying that it's not true, that they never landed. CNN interviewed the host of the show Mythbusters about the conspiracy theorists who believe that the Apollo moon landing was faked, and their extensive efforts debunking the claims the moon landing denies. However, buried towards the end of the interview is a gem of a video of Buzz Aldrin, famously one of the first astronauts to walk on the moon, being confronted by one of the moon landing skeptics several years ago. The man allegedly called Aldrin a coward and a liar. Aldrin tells the man to get away from him, and when he refuses, Aldrin promptly punches him in the face. The conspiracy theorist tries to sue Aldrin, but the judge throws out the case. And that's a pretty. People have to see this video. It's funny.
Now this is the video.
Yeah.
So bad I can't play.
No, but our viewers can watch it after our show if they're really into this stuff.
That's it for this one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it for that one.
Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. 2 more articles to go.
This is the good parts now, folks. That I was talking about before.
Hold on, Rob. Hold on. Let me focus. Let's focus here. Okay, we'll focus like Fukushima. Okay, there you go.
And now it goes. Alien presence on the moon. Moon anomalies. Is there an alien base on the moon? More and more people are coming forward with stories that might prove that this is true. Rumors say that there's an alien moon base on the far right side of the moon, the side we never see from the Earth. Did you ever wonder why the moon landings stopped and why we have not tried to build a moon base? It does seem to get better and easier. Idea that a floating space station with no access to any raw materials or supplies. According to NASA astronaut Neil Armstrong, the aliens have a base on the moon and told us in no uncertain terms to get off and stay off the moon. That is why, folks, we don't go back on the moon. Anyhow, sound far-fetched. Milton Cooper, a naval intelligence officer, tells us that not only does the alien moon base exist, but the U.S. naval intelligence community refers to the alien moon base as Luna. That there is a huge mining operation going on there, and that is where the aliens keep their huge motherships when the trips to the Earth are made in smaller flying saucers. Luna, the alien base on the far side of the moon. It was seen and filmed by Apollo astronauts. A base, a mining operation using very large machines, and a very large alien craft described in sighting reports as a mothership exists there, says Milton Cooper. According to Heretho, unconfirmed reports which calls the offerings no help, both Neil Armstrong and Edwin Buzz Aldrin saw UFOs shortly after the historic landings on the moon in Apollo 11 on the 21st of July 1969. 21st. I remember hearing one of the astronauts refer to a Leiden or a Carter during the television transmissions, followed by a request from Mission Control for further information. Nothing more was heard. According to a former NASA employee, Otto Binder, unnamed radio hams with their own VHF receiving facilities that bypass NASA's broadcasting outlets picked up the following exchange. NASA, what's there? Mission Control calling Apollo 11. Apollo, these babies are huge, sir, enormous. Oh my God, you wouldn't believe it. I'm telling you, there are other spacecrafts out there lined up on the far side of the crater. They're on the moon watching us. In 1979, Maurice Chaplin, former chief of NASA Communications System, confirmed that Armstrong had indeed reported seeing two UFOs on the rim of a crater. The encounter was common knowledge in NASA, he revealed, but nobody has talked about it since. Wow, that's mind-blowing.
What was that movie that we went and see? Wasn't it Apollo 11? No, what was it called? Apollo 18? No.
I don't remember the name of the movie we saw, but
it was Apollo, no?
Yeah, it was. And the information just goes on to talk about that the UFOs departed minutes after the astronauts came out and onto the lunar surface. And they claimed that they were being followed at a distance and sometimes quite closely by space vehicles of extraterrestrial origins, flying saucers or UFOs, if you want to call them by that. Ever since it occurred, the astronauts informed Mission Control, who then ordered absolute silence. He goes on to say, I think that Walter Schirmer aboard Mercury 8 was the first of the astronauts to use the code name Santa Claus to indicate the presence of flying saucers next to space capsules. However, his announcements were barely noticed by the public. It was a little different when James Lovell on board Apollo 8 command module came out from behind the moon and said to everybody here, please be informed that there is a Santa Claus. Even though this happened on Christmas Day 1968, many people sense a hidden meaning in those words.
I would. I bet you all of us would. All the viewers would notice that.
Exactly. Apparently they were told to keep complete silence about this. And here there's a little interview with Armstrong. Professor, what happened out there with Apollo 11? Armstrong says, it was incredible. Of course, we had always known that there was a possibility. The fact is, we were warned off by the aliens. There was never any question then of a space station or a moon. What do you, Professor, how do you mean warned off? Armstrong. I can't go into details except to say that their ships were far superior to ours, both in size and technology. Boy, were they big and menacing. No, there's no question of a space station. But NASA had other space missions after Apollo 11. Naturally, NASA was committed at the time and couldn't risk panic on Earth, but it really was a quick scoop and back again. Armstrong confirmed that the story was true but refused to go into further details beyond admitting that the CIA was behind the cover-up. Reasonable activity of an alien civilization shows up unexpectedly close to us. We were not ready for it. We can still come across publications trying to find an answer to the questions. Are we alone in the universe? At the same time, presence of reasonable creatures has been detected close to our homes in the moon. However, the discovery was immediately classified as secret, as it was so much incredible that we couldn't shake the already existing social principles reported. Russia's newspaper Vesorinary Volgograd. Here is an extract from the official press release. NASA scientists and engineers participating in exploration of Mars and the Moon reported results of their discoveries as a brief in the Washington National Press Club on March 21st, 1996. It was announced for the first time that man-caused structures and objects has been discovered on the moon. The scientists spoke rather cautiously and evasively about the functioning objects, with the exceptions of the UFOs. They have always mentioned the man-caused objects as possible and pointed out the information was still under study and official results would be published later. And just continues, the article just continues talking about what they found and all kinds of stuff like that, and people can read it if they want. And your favorite Mario talks over here, Richard C. Hoagland. You can read about what his take on this is, and yeah. So apparently, folks, they saw something there. They were warned off not to return there.
But there'll be a day when we'll be able to go. Maybe.
Well, I don't know. I mean, apparently the ships were big like cities. The spaceships that were there like cities. You can imagine.
I guess that's it for this article. We're going into overtime now, right? Well, we've been in overtime. Yeah, I guess that's it, Rob, or is there more here?
No, that's it. People can read more about it.
And to the last one.
Right here.
The last one that's coming up within the next few seconds.
Or so, right here, it's coming up.
And there she is.
Neil Armstrong dies along with secrets of what he saw on the moon. This is like a pièce de résistance of our articles tonight, right here. And there's a video over here which people can see. It's a very good, interesting video here.
And a picture, and that's it. Oh no, there's more information here.
I hope so. Unless they took out the information already.
No, right here. Right.
Yeah, I know. Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon, died today after heart failure. For many, Armstrong is the all-American hero who performed the seemingly impossible. He fulfilled President Kennedy's vision of putting a man on the moon before the end of the decade. Armstrong's walk on the moon was televised and witnessed by hundreds of millions around the planet. For many, it was an unforgettable experience and sparked hopes of a bright future of human space travel. What Armstrong experienced that day on the moon has been marked by controversy over a 2-minute period of radio silence that surprised viewers and fueled many theories over what really happened. According to alleged leaked government documents and photographs, Armstrong did not see the barren landscape televised to millions, but something much more significant. According to NASA insiders, an alleged ham transcript intercept, what Armstrong witnessed that day changed his life and led to the eventual abandonment of the Mars lunar missions. According to the alleged leaked documents, 2 extraterrestrial spacecraft watched the Apollo landing and observed the Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin moonwalks. This is where it gets good, folks. right here coming up. And during the Apollo moon landing, there was a 2-minute period of radio silence. According to NASA, the problem arose from one of the television cameras overheating, thus disrupting the reception. What really happened, according to various sources, was that Armstrong and Aldrin saw something else watching them. According to Timothy Good, author of Above Top Secret 1988, ham radio operators received the VH signals transmitted from Apollo 11 to NASA's Houston headquarters, intercepted the following message, which NASA screened from the public missions to the 2 minutes. Mission control. What's there? Mission control. Calling Apollo 11. Apollo 11. These babies are huge, sir. Enormous. Oh God, you wouldn't believe it. I'm telling you, there are other spacecrafts out there, lined up above the far side of the crater edge. They're on the moon watching us. The ham operator radio intercept was widely dismissed by the media, but in 1975, it received unexpected support. Maurice Chapman is a retired NASA communications engineer who helped develop the communication system using the Apollo missions in 1975 book, Our Cosmic Ancestors. He wrote, only moments before Armstrong stepped down the ladder to set foot on the moon, 2 UFOs hovered overhead. Edwin Aldrin took several pictures of them. Some of these photographs have been published in June 1975 issue of Modern People magazine. Later in 1979, Chaitlin said that Armstrong's sightings of the 2 UFOs over a lunar crater was being deliberately kept back by media and public by NASA. The encounter was common knowledge in NASA, but nobody had talked about it until now. Even more remarkably, Chapman claimed that all Apollo and Gemini flights were followed both at a distance and sometimes also quite closely by space vehicles of ET origins, flying saucers or UFOs, if you want to call them by that name. Each time it occurred, the astronauts informed mission control, who then ordered absolute silence. Was the mission 2 minutes of the radio during the Apollo 11 moon landing an attempt by NASA to cover up what Armstrong really saw on the moon? Were UFO sightings a common occurrence during Apollo missions? According to Buzz Aldrin, in a number of press interviews on Apollo 11, there was indeed being watched by UFOs during its journey to the moon. Aldrin describes how the Apollo 11 astronauts avoided mentioning the word UFO in reports in what they were witnessing and instead asked Houston about the locations of the Saturn V launch rocket. Aldrin's admission that Apollo 11 was being shadowed by UFO does give credence to belief that UFOs did witness the moon landing. And Armstrongs have reported to NASA in a radio communications that results in the missing 2 minutes of radio silence. Aldrin's admission also supports Chaitlin's claims that one or more of the extraterrestrial vehicles watched the Apollo moon landings, just like Chaitlin claimed in the book. And then it just goes on to say that they were being watched by extraterrestrial vehicles over a lunar crater, the Apollo moon landing. And apparently it was censored by NASA. So why did NASA eventually terminate the Apollo missions if extraterrestrial visitors were then watching them? The answer, according to Armstrong, as relayed by an unnamed professor at NASA Synophysim, is as follows. Professor, what really happened? And it goes on to talk about the same thing with Apollo 11, and I just read that before. There was never any question of a space station or a moon landing, moon city. What do you mean warned off? And he keeps saying that they were big, and we read this whole article, but my view to this is a different source to prove we had to cross-reference this.
Yeah, because
in order to prove
two sides of the coin, right?
Yeah, to get to the point. Yeah, exactly. But keep on going down for viewers to see in case we missed any points. And it goes on to say, so what's the truth? Did Neil Armstrong really see ET's vehicles on the moon, who eventually warned NASA not to return? With Armstrong's death, we will perhaps never know his personal version of what really happened on July Day in 1969. Perhaps NASA will one day release an official version of what really happened, or have they already done through fictional movies? A fictional movie admission by Buzz Aldrin. In the movie Transformers: Dark Side of the Moon, Buzz Aldrin comes forward to reveal a version of the truth about what he and Armstrong saw on the moon. In the movie, he says on a secret black operations radio line to NASA during public silence while on the moon, "You cannot believe what we're seeing, Black Ops NASA technicians. We are not alone. After all, are we? No, sir, we are not alone." If the above events are true, it must have been very difficult for Armstrong to keep official silence at what he really saw on the moon for over 40 decades. Perhaps this explains his reclusive nature after the lunar missions and public reticence in describing his personal experience on the moon. If so, he remained true to his word and kept silence despite any personal reservations to the contrary. Neil Armstrong was an American patriot to the end. So we were warned off. If they actually went to the moon and it wasn't fake, we were warned off the moon.
So that's it for that?
That's it, yeah. But exactly, folks. So my point to all of this is there's two ways of looking at it. The moon landings were fake and it never happened. And if they did happen, why they don't go back there? Well, it's because they were warned off by aliens not to go back there.
So we really never know. We will
No,
never
we won't.
It sucks.
But apparently, if they did go there, it was teeming with aliens. I mean, space vehicles. They saw a lot of stuff down there, and they were warned off. And if you notice now, they want to send they want to send people to Mars in a couple of years.
Yeah, I know. I heard about it today. I've heard about it actually today. They want to send man to Mars, but there's no way back. So, but anyhow,
exactly. There's no way back. So why go there? What's going to happen? Maybe they're going to send them there because the alien they're going to do experiments on them. There's got to be a deal between the aliens and them.
That would be a hoax too.
That could be a hoax too. Exactly. I mean, they're not allowed on the moon. Why would they be allowed on the moon on Mars unless they're going to create people, they're going to send people there and they're going to do experiments. There must be a secret deal between the aliens and the government for this to happen. But that's only mere speculation. But fiction can be stranger than the truth can be stranger than fiction sometimes, you know. And that will be for another time.
But Rob, don't forget before we go, because I know it's getting, you know, they do want to send robots before us. So who knows, they'll probably be hiding more things with robots because it'll be easier for them to cover up for robots. You know, robots don't lie, but they can make robots lie. So
that will be for another time, the conspiracy why they want to send people to Mars. I'm sure there's a lot of information for that, but that's not for now. And we hope you enjoy our show and about the moon landing hoax conspiracy. Hopefully you've learned a few things, and go to our links if you want to learn more and keep researching it. And that's it for this.
Also tell us what you think. Very important.
In the comments on YouTube. And we thank you for tuning in to our show tonight, and we'll see you next week. God bless you all. Thank you for watching our MNR Live TV show.
All right. Thank you. Good night, people.